Hello everyone and welcome back to PGP Motorsports Park for the second race of the summer season. You're joining us here today for the last chance qualifying. These are the people who did not finish in the top 10 of their respective heat races and are fighting to make it into the top 4 to make it into the final, which is where all the points are, and for the potential podium.
So starting on the front row, we have Kevin and Colin. Kevin Mays and Colin Flynn. In the second row, is that William Fraser in the second row? I think it is. I recognize that color. And in fourth is Harb with his very menacing Minions helmet.
Yeah, but now that they're coming out of the roller coaster, we're going to pan over to the green flag and look at the whole track that they have before them. And pretty soon, the race will be starting. Once that flag is waved, it's up, and then the flag's waved and they're away. Already they're going to be starting out. People are going to be jostling for positions. Going into turn 1 here, we're going into the forwards direction, so things are named normally this time. And as they go through turn 2, we see some 4-wide action in the back, but our people are going to claim that position. So much 2-wide action, people claiming positions, losing them, but at the top 2 are going away, and they are now in line going into turn 1. Out the exit from here is super important as they go into the massive braking zone of turn 4. This is where a lot of mistakes can happen. And here we see a bundle going in there. It looks like oh no, someone goes wide and into the grass and then spins out, facing the wrong direction. They're going to have to rejoin, and that's going to be quite the work to catch back up. And they would need to get back up into the top 4, but they've got 20 minutes to do it, so it could be possible if they were an insane racer. But still, the race goes on.
So update on the top 4. It was not William Fraser starting third. It was Aiden Flynn, who is really good at being ambiguous with his name when I ask it in the paddock. So, Aiden, I got you now. You're in fourth. Because I recognize that cool shirt. Not as cool as my shirt, as we established in the paddock. Anyway, so our leader is coming out down the front straight. And that is Kevin leading the race, followed by Colin Flynn. They maintain their top 2 positions. Harb made it to third. Aiden in fourth. In the hunt is Baran getting past
2 wide going into turn 1.
No, by Drew. My bad.
Yeah, there was some 2-wide action going into turn 1. It looks like that fight has already been settled. I think the overtake was done or not, but still, 2 wide again going into turn 3. Around the inside line, someone is going, and do they get it pulled off? It looks like they do. They get that advantage. Now are they going to have the momentum coming out?
By the way, that is Drew making a charge through the field in his white helmet, currently in 5th place, fighting Aiden for 4th.
Yeah, that very much needed top 4 position. Those 2 racers in the back there are literally on the line between being able to get to race in the final and not. The points very, very much do matter here.
Yeah, so the top 4 positions get to move on to the final. Whereas if you're in 5th or below, you still get championship points, but you don't get an opportunity for even more championship points. So you really want to be in those top 4 spots.
But now there's a fight for 3rd place, and nope, he defends it, they go back into line.
That is Harb in the Minions helmet defending 3rd place, doing very well. And that is Aiden in 4th, and Drew in 5th.
Now it looks like on that second half of the track, the gap is growing, and so 3rd place is looking to make a move onto 4th place. And will that move be completed? It's hard to tell with the bright sun. And it looks like the fight is still going on. I see some 2 wide, but he's just losing his position. 5th place drops down to 6th place, but now he has got the inside line for turn 3. Will he be able to hold on to that? He does barely, but will there be a return lunge? No, he's able to hold it out on there, and it looks like he did get the better exit going onto the back straight, so he holds on to his very much important 5th place.
An update on that 4-way squabble. That is Harb leading that 4-way in 3rd place, followed very closely by Aiden, who is on the chopping block, under threat by Drew and William Fraser. It was that William Fraser that I mistook, but he's now in the fight, so who knows? Maybe he might claw his way back up to 3rd and make correct what my mistake was before the race started. Aiden taking a really defensive line. He does not want to give up this 3rd spot. Wait, 3rd spot? Aiden found his way into 3rd while I wasn't looking. Harb is now under threat in 4th. That Minions helmet can only do so much to keep people behind you.
But it's 2 wide behind him as they're now fighting for that 5th place, and so that could give Harb the help that he needs to maintain that spot.
That is currently Drew in 5th in the white helmet right behind Harb. And also in the hunt is Baran, who's still fighting, because You want to be in the front half of this four-way battle to get in the final, and they're leaving nothing on the table. They're giving everything. Update on that battle between 3rd through 6th. We got Aiden, Harb, Drew, and William Frazier in that order. What happened to Baran? I thought he was in there too. Something must have happened. They magically swapped carts while I wasn't looking. We still have that intense battle for 4th. They are side by side going through 2. Harb spearheading it, currently in 4th place. William Frazier sneaks by in 5th place. That leaves Drew in 6th. And Preston, who I just mentioned earlier, lacking his blue race suit but has a nice gray helmet, is now in the hunt. We have a 4-way battle for 4th.
And it's progressing. There was just a whole shuffle there in that turn 1. They just decided, all right, I'm bored staying in this line. Let's just let's just shuffle. Let's just roll the dice and change our positions.
Oh no, Preston, I cursed him. He just goes straight off. I don't know if that was a brake issue or if he was touched. But really unfortunate. He's no longer competing for that 4th place.
Yeah, he just disappeared out of there. Like, it was like a magic trick. Like, all of a sudden there were 4 cars, then there were 3.
He saw that barrier and was like, I'm going to crash test the barrier. And case in point, that barrier helped him stay on track. So, the barriers work. I don't recommend hitting them. It's painful. Don't ask how I know.
It depends on where you hit him. I've never hit him head on. I've always hit him like with the rear of the cart because I'm always like spinning out into the barriers when I hit him. So I don't think I've ever like felt the touch of the barrier.
But that is also once again a testament to how tricky turn 4 is, which I'll explain after this 3-way battle for 4th. Once again, going in through turn 1, Harp takes the inside. Williams stays on the outside. He's going to be vulnerable because that's going to leave Drew to pass him on the inside, which is now the outside of turn 2.
And we have a passer on the outside of turn 2, but not quite able to succeed with the momentum and falls behind.
Yeah, lots of back and forth action here.
Battle still going on. 2 wide into turn 3, and we're going to see if they're able to straighten themselves out and who's going to get the best exit going into turn 4. And are they going to follow in Preston's footsteps? It is now 2 wide going into turn 4. They got to be precise on the brakes and maybe not overcook it a little bit. And they're perfect on the brakes.
They make it work, and in all that carnage, well, it wasn't even carnage, in that battle, William Frazier sneaks by into 4th place, taking it away from Harb.
But these people who are in 4th, 5th, and 6th, this is the real fight. This is the fight to stay in the race. They both take defensive inside lines, or defensive/offensive inside lines, and the person in 6th takes that optimal line through there and is still just right on the bumper of them through turn 2. And into turn 3 they go. It doesn't look like there's any opportunities for passes, so they're just going to want to keep it nice and clean through turn 3 and then hope for any mistakes so that way they can get a free pass on this straight here. And it looks like the bump drafting is going on. Never mind, no bump drafting. There's going to be a dive on the inside.
From my angle, Drew cheekily bump drafted Harp to give him that momentum to make a dive on the inside, but that was a blessing in disguise because that let Harp make a move that didn't quite work, and because of that, Drew took 5th place from Harp. That was a loaded gift. That was brilliant racecraft, if you ask me, because what happened there? I saw that Drew gave Harb a bump draft. That gave him the momentum. That let Harb make that attack on William. But that attack, it was up to Harb to capitalize, but unfortunately didn't quite work. That compromised his momentum through turns 4 and 5, and that let Drew make a move. So, brilliantly played by Drew, if you ask me. Final lap is out! And William gives up 4th place?
Did he give it up?
He gave up 4th place. Okay. So here's what happened going into turn 1. William was right ahead of Drew, who were in 4th and 5th at the time, and I don't think William knew that
it's too wide. It looks like Harb is trying to get his spot back from William, and going to try to trace down Drew. This time he has that inside. This time he has the lead, and this time he isn't going to lose it. Harb gets 5th place.
But really quickly, what happened was William took a mid-line. He went full defensive, which he should have stayed full defensive if you wanted to keep 4th place. But he gave up that full defensive line to try to get a decent exit, or decent run through turn 1, but that simply opened the door for Drew, who was literally bumper right behind him, and just said thank you, snuck right in, and took 4th place away. That was a critical, unfortunate mistake by William that quite literally cost him his spot in the final.
And and not only just one spot, but 2 spots in total, as Harb was able to capitalize shortly after. And now Drew is just running away with his insane
as our
pace.
leaders cross the line.
The leaders cross the line, making it into the final. 3rd place now crosses the line, making it into the final. And now we have 4th place of Drew crossing, making it to the final, and that is it. Everyone behind him is getting their points. 5th place getting maximum points, and then 6th place slightly less points behind that. But now our top 4, we're going to move into the final 2 rows of the final, where we'll have 24 karts, and that'll be it. We'll see you there. Hello everyone, and welcome back to PGP welcome back to the final of the summer season race 2. This is the race for points. This is the race for the podium. This is where we have all the people who finished in the top 10, and then of course the top 4 that finished in the LCQ, and they're going to be slowing down, getting ready for that rolling start.
Get all gridded up nice and even. Starting on pole position, we got Paolo Pettini, who's looking for his championship, a good championship result. In 2nd place is Davidson Mann. I'm going to jinx him. I might as well jinx him now. Yeah. But, I mean, both of these two, they are race winners here. They know what it's like. In the hunt, right behind them, Spencer Foote and William Yee. That's not William Yee, that's Sebastian.
Yeah, Sebastian, who is the current championship leader, who took the win from the first race.
And right behind them is Sergey and Alex. These 2 are close friends, and we're going to see them starting from the 3rd row. That's all the time I got. Take it away.
All right, so I'm going to pan over to the green flag, which will be starting our race today. Pretty soon he'll be raising the flag. And the flag's waved and they're away. They're going to start roaring forward. They're not going to be doing that rolling start thing anymore. Still, they're going to maintain that 2x2 line. I see some people trying to go for cheeky around the outside 3 wide overtakes, but we're going to see what's going on with the leaders. Paulo already getting an early lead. Looks like, well, is Paulo in the lead?
Paulo is in the lead.
Can't tell. It's very hard to see with how bright the sun is, but so many clumps going into turn 2, and amazingly they all survived that. Probably just minor contact here and there. But this is really the test of faith, the test of skill, the test of your braking power as they go into turn 4. And people are really heavy on the brakes. You can hear the squealing of the tires as they just push the limits of these rental go-karts out here, and they are sticking to it. People are not sacrificing their entire race into just this lap 1. They're not going to try to win the race in lap 1. They got 20 minutes to go, and we still see some battles going on 2 wide several times over in Light Bulb top of the world out of Bus Stop, and then into Light Bulb they go. People just vying for any position that they can gain in this first lap through all the chaos.
Oh! As you said, we got a really big crash in the back. That looked really bad. I hope everyone's okay.
This person skipped all the way to the 1st place. No item shortcut.
Yeah, but it seems he's counting the positions, but you're kind of in last, buddy. So, really unfortunate what happened. A cart got spun around, and that turned it into a head-on. Fortunately, everyone's back on track. It looks like no one's hurt, so really unfortunate what happened back there. But
battle going on for this 2nd pack here. The 1st pack seems to be all sorted, but there's that 2 wide action going into turn 3. Can't recognize the drivers from here. Sun's very bright, but it's going to be all about this exit here into turn 4, and that'll really solidify your position.
So we got the top 5 isolated. You could see them on the left of the screen. But looking at this battle in turn 6, spearheaded by Alex, who is maintaining his 6th place start, followed very closely by Aiden Flynn. Fun fact, Aiden's sweatshirt is the same high school that I went to.
Yeah, small world out here at PGP Motorsports Park.
Also, right behind him is Stephen Barrett. Stephen Barrett's usually a front runner. It's kind of painful to see him all the way back here, but that's kind of where he started. He didn't have the greatest heat race, so let's see what he could do to move forward through this pack. Unfortunately, the top 5 have built a gap and have kind of gotten away with it. I'll get those gaps for you when they update when they cross the line.
Yeah, with the 24 karts here, you tend to get like a bunch of different race gaps through here, but if we have this 5-way battle for the lead, that is plenty entertaining. But at the back of that 5-way battle for 4th place, the battle is 2 wide into turn 1, and he's going to not quite claim the position because they're able to keep the momentum around on the outside, and they're going to have that inside line for turn 2, but he's going to hold him narrow around the outside. Brilliant racing.
Spencer's still on the inside,
turn 3
on the outside. And Spencer manages to get right on by, keeps that 4th place away from Sergey.
brilliant racing, too wide through those two hairpins, and they may have built up the gap between them and the leaders up there, but Spencer thought he was faster, and so he's going to take that. But Sergey, huge move, takes the position back, but Spencer's
These two are throwing
on the
haymakers. They're just throwing each other down at this point. They are fighting way too hard. At least it's still early in the race, but you don't want to be fighting this hard.
They've fallen back to the other pack.
Yeah, they lost that otherwise 2.5 second gap, almost 3 second gap to the backpack, and now they're in that backpack. They're spearheading it, but they've lost so much time. However, be that as it may, Sergey managed to get by. So he did get what he wants at what cost. Now, fortunately, it's still early in the race. We're in the beginning stages. Palau is still in the lead. Davidson in the hunt. Sebastian pushing Davidson to see if they can catch up to Palau. Davidson telling Sebastian, don't fight too hard. We want to catch Palau. And Sebastian playing nice. Just kidding. Okay, yeah, Sebastian is playing nice. He's not going to be fighting Davidson tooth and nail, because to win the race, you don't want to be fighting each other. As I was about to say before things got really heated, the reason the gap opened up so far to 6th place was because Alex and Aiden were side by side for nearly half a lap on the opening lap. They refused to back down, and all that did was slow each other down, letting the top pack get away. That it just goes to show the consequences of fighting for a single position. You let everyone else in front get away. So it's a battle of discipline and give and take.
Yeah, as we see that huge swarm, that huge line, as everyone now is like, all right, let's race for pace here. Let's race our own races. Let's focus on dueling. And let's just stop having this massive brawl that we've been having for 2 laps.
But massive brawls are fun to watch. They give us something to talk about.
They are fun to watch. I will say that.
It's about the spectacle. Now, what I want to see is the top 3 get into a massive brawl as they catch up to Palau. We may see some explosions happen in this race. I'm looking forward to it. Sebastian giving Davidson that updraft. He got the message. These 3 want to win, and these 3 know what it takes to win. They're not going to fight each other super hard for a single position unless that position is first.
Yeah, I think so Sebastian here has won the first race of the season. Davidson took a win off of Paulo's massive streak in the last season, and of course Palau is in this fight as well. We have so many race winners just in this 3-way battle right here.
Yeah, the top 3 are race winners, and they are ready to attack Palau. We see Davidson taking some cheeky lines because he knows that Sebastian's right behind him, and if Davidson doesn't make a severe mistake, he knows that it is in Sebastian's best interest to give him a bump draft. So he can fight, he just can't fight too hard. We're on the razor's edge here, as it almost looks like they're gonna go too wide through light bulb, but they're not. They are keeping it pretty consistent.
They're taking some alternate lines through here, but they're all equally fast.
If you're that close, you kind of want to take an alternate line if you're behind, simply so you don't compromise yourself and lose your self-time to the person in front who is kind of
who doesn't have the draft that you have.
Oh, some good communication from Davidson. Davidson tapped his helmet to signal Sebastian behind. Don't fight. We're fighting for the lead. If you fight me, we're just going to drop back. Sebastian recognized this. He quickly looked behind to check the gap, and he sees that the gap behind Sebastian is about a second, really.
Looks like there was an overtake in the battle behind the top 3, but also, I will say that 4-way battle behind the top 3 is catching up to that front pack, it looks like.
Except the battle for 4th is on. We see Spencer and Alex side by side, followed very closely by Ethan, still side by side in 4th. That's going to really compromise somebody. And that somebody, unfortunately, is Spencer, who is the one stuck at the wrong place, wrong time, currently under threat from Ethan. Ethan not happy with having to fight for a position, but Spencer's a race winner around here.
Ethan, I think, fell off the track there a little bit, and he lost 2 more positions.
Ethan had every right to fight for that position. But if you fight too hard, you run the risk of running out of track and having to take a compromised line, and that's what happened. Spencer looked like it gave him space, but it was the kind of space that is garbage space that you don't want to go to, and that really slows you down, and I think that's what happened to Ethan there.
Yep, and that battle in the top 3 still going on with Palau, Davidson, and Sebastian with 4th place, hunting them down.
So we are still have a really close battle for the lead. In the back, Ethan is now under threat from Kirk Strong. But that's all the way for, I believe, 7th place. But again, the points given for the higher positions, the gap between positions is larger from the top. So it's worth it to fight for these top positions for even more points.
Yeah, especially so early in the championship. This is only the second race of the championship, so there's still so much more to go. And you just want to either increase your lead or claw back anything that you might have lost from incidents in the first race.
Update, Sergey is catching up to the top 4, and Alex is following right behind him. It appears to me that they do, in fact, have the pace to catch up to the top 3. So these top 3, if they're going to make something happen, they kind of want to do it sooner rather than later, because this 3-way squabble is pretty soon going to turn into a 5-way squabble.
Yep, like we had earlier on in the race before that battle for 4th place kicked off and then dropped them all the way back to the previous pack. Only now are they recovering.
As the wind is starting to pick up, down the front straight, they're going to have a tailwind. It's okay, I got the
3rd place is going for 2nd place down turn 1.
Sebastian
makes
makes
the inside
move.
line. Sebastian takes it.
Sebastian sneaks by Davidson in turn 1. I was holding the canopy so I couldn't see it, but because they're still facing forward, I'm going to assume it was a pretty decent move.
Yep. So, yeah, Sebastian had a clean inside line with the draft, especially with the wind kicking up, and he was able to just slide by Davidson on the inside line, and then he just had that secured pretty much for the next 2 corners, and now he's going to be looking for Paulo, as now it's officially a 5-way battle for the lead of the race.
I called it. So, yeah, Sebastian, opportunistic move, getting it in front. And we'll see if Davidson can clap back. But now Davidson has Sergey, who's right behind him to worry about. And Alex also. Alex and Sergey, no strangers to being in the top spots.
Yeah, Paulo's still holding the lead. And now that Sebastian has 2nd place, this would put them, I think, tied.
Yes.
For the championship. Unless there's like fastest lap points that I'm unaware of.
I don't think that neither Paulo nor Sebastian got the fastest lap in the previous race. You'll have to fact check that after the race. But if they finish as they are now, the points will be tied.
This is going to be an intense summer season. As Paulo and Sebastian race ahead, already building up a little bit of a gap between them and Davidson. And Sebastian is not going to want to create that tied scenario as he is pushing Paulo and just looking for a way past him at this point, it looks like.
See, the problem with passing Paulo for the lead is that Paulo has so much experience leading races and being not passed for the lead while still maintaining pace. If you're going to make a move, it's got to be concrete. You got to make it stick. And the risk here is that if you make a move for the lead of the race, if you're in 2nd, you have 3 hungry carts right behind you. And if you don't make it work, you're going to drop from 2nd to 5th.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's also the risk of just, like, your race ending. We're far enough into the race where, like, you are not going to be able to recover if you, like, fall off even a little bit at this point.
Yeah,
Granted, these guys are really good at this, and it's unlikely for this to happen to them.
We are late middle stages of the race. Top 5 battle for the lead. I mean, you see the names on screen, but let me call them out. We got Paulo followed by Sebastian, Davidson, Sergey, and Alex in that order. Gapped behind in 6th is Spencer, followed by Aiden, Kirk, Steven, and William rounds our top 10.
Yeah, and it looks like the battle's almost kicking off. I see some alternative lines in the back there between 4th and 5th. We might see a similar situation. What happened there if they get too impatient? What happened earlier on in the race?
Those alternate lines you see, those are them keeping their momentum without sacrificing position. Because when you're following that close in a train, you kind of want to take a slightly alternate line to the person in front of you just to give yourself some room to keep your momentum without having to sacrifice it, because if you directly follow the person ahead of you, you're just going to bump them and that'll slow both of you down. You don't want that.
Also, it's probably uncomfortable just being in the dirty air, even though there's not much aero on these things.
I mean, the aero does count for something. I can personally verify with my small frame, tucking behind someone of a larger frame, I do feel a very slight advantage. I at least don't feel the wind pushing on me nearly as much. So I can also verify that the slipstream, while minor, does exist.
Especially as we're getting like a slight breeze pushing pushing against us, so that back straight's going to be super important.
That back straight goes into turn 4, so they could turn that into an advantage. However, we do see Sebastian pushing Palau for a very slight gap. It's not quite the biggest gap to really make a move, but he is giving himself a buffer from Davidson, who is defending third from Sergey and Alex.
Yeah, you definitely want it to be more of a duel than a brawl for anything if you want to get it the most
Sergey
optimal
and
pass
Alex
done.
both slipped by Davidson in turn 3.
Oh, no.
I think that was actually a strategic move by Davidson. Because we're entering the closing stages of the race, right? And Davidson saw the gap to third. I think what he wants to do is let them with better pace catch up, and he'll follow them. So when the inevitable explosion happens on the last lap, Davidson can capitalize on it. It is a gamble, big gamble, but it makes sense.
Yeah, that is quite the gamble, and I'm wondering if that's actually a big brain move on his part, or if you're just coping there. But we'll see how it pays off, because it looks like you're right. Third and fourth are indeed catching up. It looks like a little bit, although I will say before it was just a clean 5-way battle for the lead, but now it looks like a battle of 2x2 by Davidson. And now it's a 4-way battle, but Davidson's just a little bit behind.
Let's get those lap times. Because what's going to happen is they're going to explode into turn 1, taking circuit lines. Not this lap. We got a little tease right there of what's to come. But what's going to happen, Davidson is going to be able to catch up to them once they start fighting. Because what Davidson recognized, he didn't have the pace to really catch up. So he kind of let them by without sacrificing himself too much. And what probably ended up happening anyways was Davidson would recognize he had slower pace. Both Sergey and Alex would recognize he was slightly off pace and want to get by him sooner rather than later. So what Davidson's options were, in theory, try to fight for third place tooth and nail and most likely not get it due to not being on the pace, or take a gamble, drop to 5th place now, so when things explode later, he may capitalize on it. So, again,
that does require him that he's able to stay with the pack a little bit. It looks like he's just kind of falling into the clutches of like 6th and 7th behind a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't quite have the pace to keep up with the top pack. But if that top pack explodes, it's all to play for as we see the final lap. White flag being raised.
All right, so this is the explosion that Davidson's going to want here as we go into the final lap. No holds barred. It's no longer tactical. You got to make your passes on this lap or not at all.
And let's see if any move can be made. Because if you're going to make a move for a pass, you want to do it in either turn 3, turn 4, which is really risky. That's coming up. Palau defending the inside. Sebastian having a look on the outside. He thinks better of it. Very wise. There's still half the track to go.
Sebastian with the better line. He's going for the undercut. He's going to go into the inside.
Is he going to take it? He wisely does not, because Palau saw it coming. Very disciplined from Sebastian to not go for that move. Yeah, just because you have a toe in does not mean you can make the move. Very disciplined from Sebastian to recognize that and slip back behind Palau to maybe make the move around Lightbulb. Paulo's very defensive.
He's just not able to get by. He has all the pace, but there's just like a wall in front of him called Paolo Patini, and Sebastian is struggling to like try to bust through that. It's all going to be about the exit here at Roller Coaster. This is where we're going to see them try to get the most of the slipstream. Everyone's perfect on their exits.
Photo finish. Will we get one? It looks like everybody's got the same pace.
Sebastian doesn't get the exit. Paolo Patini wins the second race of the summer season, followed by Sebastian Vettel, or Sebastian, just Sebastian. And in third place, we have Sergey.
That's our top 3. Brilliantly fought by everybody. Brilliant racecraft on display today. We'll see you at the podium. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to keep you updated with the races as they come.
Everybody, thank y'all for coming out. Round 2 of the Spring League racing season. He's here. I had a lot of good racing out there. Once again, good battle for the lead. We had about a 4 or 5 car pack for the most part, but yeah, it's some good racing. Nice, clean, hard racing. Coming in third place today, got a best lap time of a 78.670, finishing .193 off the leader. Third place, Sergey is not here yet. All right, we'll wait for him for a second.
You got stuck in the Ferrari pit stop.
Yeah, exactly. Good strategy.
Yeah, that's 2/10 off the best lap of the group. Coming in second place with the best lap time of a 79.055. Tried to get one more spot on that last lap, but couldn't quite get it. Finishing .097 off the leader. We have Sebastian. And taking a win. Another one for his collection. Best lap time of a 79.028. Get to the lead early and just hang out. Just out for a Sunday drive, keeping everyone behind him. First place, Paul Patini. Actually, Stephen Barrett had the best lap time, not Alex. Yep. 3, 2, 1.